rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so I'm sorry for being late, but I'm having some technical difficulties. I don't know what is going on with StreamYard, but it is not letting me access certain features on here. I don't know what is going on, so we're going to try to get through it. I can't even get to my list of video uploads. I don't know. This is all crazy. I can't get to my sponsors video, so I'll try to get to that in a minute. But anyway, with that all being said, everyone, please hit that like button. Please like, share, subscribe. Okay, don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed, especially if you have not been receiving the notifications. With that all being said, hello, Jeff ATL. Nessa G is here. Claudette G from the land. All right, Panther Strike, Buckhorse DC. Let's get into it. 6'3" soldier. All right, Andrea is in the house. All right. Shout out to everyone, chat, everyone tuned into the Queen. I see you just anticipate. Courtney J. Easy is in the house. Okay, so let's get into it. Soldier M is here. So before we get into the information about this brawl, which is all so crazy, before we get into that, let's talk about these mass shootings. Okay, let's talk about these mass shootings. First and foremost, there were 2 mass shootings yesterday, one in Reno, Nevada, and another one in New York. Okay, so let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen and go to the press conference. This is the one that happened in Nevada.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Myself and my colleagues are here to provide you an update about this morning's critical incident. At this point in time, we will be providing several different statements from different members of our team that are here. However, we will not be taking questions. At this time, it is an active and ongoing investigation. I want to start with my deepest condolences to the victims and their families, as well as to our entire community. Tragedies like this are horrific for any community to endure, not just for the victims, the first responders, and the people who are there, but for everyone who calls our community home. Violence is not acceptable, especially in our public spaces. Everyone has the right to be safe here, and we are committed to ensuring the safety in our city. I want to be clear, the suspect is to blame for this incident. His actions is responsible for the tragedies that he created. This morning at 7:25, Reno police officers responded to the Grand Sierra Resort on the report of an active shooter. Within 2.5 minutes, our PD officers arrived on scene.
Okay, what is going on here? Hold on, beloveds. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. Hold on.
Transportation without
Okay,
hesitation
there we
to
go.
local hospitals. During the incident, one officer sustained minor injuries, most likely from glass fragments. This was the only physical injury our officers received during the incident. Officers, deputies from the Reno Police Department, Washoe County Sheriff's Office, Nevada Highway Patrol, Nevada State Police, Nevada Parole and Probation, Sparks Police, and several federal agencies responded to the scene. I cannot thank our first responders and GSNR personnel enough for their rapid response and help in ensuring the victims of this tragedy received instantaneous help. The Sparks Police Department will be the primary investigating agency for the officer-involved shooting and the active shooter investigation. And this is part of our. I would now like to introduce Chief Crawford with the Sparks Police Department to provide more details.
Our security officer located the suspect in the parking lot, and the suspect opened fire on the security guard. The security officer returned fire at the suspect. The suspect then continued fleeing north through the parking lot. Another victim was driving through the parking lot, and the suspect opened fire on this person, striking the victim. That victim was pronounced deceased on the scene. Reno police officers arrived on scene and located the suspect, where he fired upon officers, striking a patrol vehicle. An officer-involved shooting then occurred. Multiple officers from the Reno Police Department discharged their firearms, striking the suspect.
Okay, so they were saying he remained in critical condition. Okay, so that all being said, let's go to this next one now. There was actually a police officer killed. Police probe Manhattan shooter's motive, 4 people killed, and an officer also. This is from 2 hours ago. This is the most recent report that I can find.
News this morning, new details in the deadliest mass shooting in New York City in 25 years. Security images show a gunman with an M4 assault-style rifle walking into a skyscraper in busy Midtown Manhattan. This is near some of the city's most iconic venues and tourist attractions. Police say he opened fire inside the lobby, the elevator bank, and the 33rd floor, ultimately killing 4 people, including an NYPD officer, before taking his own life. Investigators have identified the gunman as 27-year-old Shane Tamura, who drove cross-country from Las Vegas to that scene. Here's what else they revealed about the shooter.
According to our law enforcement partners in Las Vegas, Mr. Tamura has a documented mental health history. His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location.
Now, the building where the shooting occurred houses a number of businesses, including corporate offices for the NFL. A source telling CNN the gunman had a suicide note in his pocket, which expressed grievances with the NFL, and also that he claimed to suffer from CTE, asking that his brain be studied. The NYPD officer who was killed has been identified as 36-year-old Didarul Islam, a 3.5-year veteran of the department. He leaves behind a wife and 2 sons. The couple also had another child on the way. Overnight, officials lined the streets outside a Manhattan hospital to pay tribute as his body was transferred. CNN's Omar Jimenez is at the scene of that shooting this morning. Omar, more details coming out overnight. What more are you learning?
Yeah, well, right now we walked over to try to see the exact entrance of this building. Officers are guarding the entrance. There are barricades in front of it as well. On this first morning since this deadliest shooting in New York in at least 25 years. You can see some of behind me. This happened on the tail end of rush hour. This is sort of the scene here. That is where this gunman walked in armed with a rifle, went into the lobby of this building and started opening fire, hitting and killing a New York City police officer, killing 2 others in the lobby before getting in an elevator, going to the 33rd floor, killing a 4th person there before turning the gun on himself. This police officer, 36 years old, father of 2, expecting a 3rd. Here's New York Mayor Eric Adams.
He was saving lives. He was protecting New Yorkers. He's an immigrant from Bangladesh, and he loved this city. And everyone we spoke with stated he was a person of faith.
Obviously, people continuing to mourn this morning over what happened. As for the shooter, we're learning new details about this person who was living in Las Vegas prior to driving across the country to this block where I'm standing and carrying out this shooting. And while we still don't know a motive at this point, a source with knowledge of the investigation tells CNN that there was a suicide note in his pocket alleging that he suffered from CTE, the brain disease linked to head trauma. And the offices here do hold the NFL, but we are still trying to figure out if that was a potential motive or instead a piece of the documented mental health history, which we have heard from the NYPD at this point. According to a memo, staff memo sent to staff by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, a 5th person was shot here, an employee of the NFL. That person is in stable condition, but this office also holds the companies like Blackstone, an investment firm, in this predominantly corporate part of Manhattan here, near, as you mentioned, many popular tourist attractions. And as people walk by, we're heading into another rush hour here on the morning side, and people are headed to work in the surrounding areas, obviously looking to see.
Okay, so I'm going to stop right there, guys. Listen, I'm about to refresh this screen. Okay, if the screen goes black for a second, don't worry about it. I'm going to refresh the screen so I can try to see if I can get this stuff to working right. This is really annoying me. Okay. Okay, so likes up, everybody. Please like and share. Now let me see if it's working. Okay, let me see here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, that's more like it. Now, before we get started, let's have a brief word from my sponsor, since now I can go to my uploads.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it, honey. Now, I know you all by now have heard about this nefarious brawl that happened in downtown Cincinnati. Okay, so there's been a bunch of narratives being painted. Okay, as per usual, they're blaming the people who look like me. Okay, please pay attention. But that's not, they're trying to act like the Black people started it, and that's not what happened. Okay, they edited a video to make it look like the Black folks were the ones that started it. Now, and then when you show the proof or tell them what really happened, they say, oh, well, it doesn't matter who started it. They were doing too much. Well, maybe they were doing too much in their opinion. But at the end of the day, when you put your hands on somebody, you do not get to determine how that person responds or reacts. And that's just how it goes. And I think we've all had that conversation before. But we're going to talk about it because I have quite a few things to say. Okay, so likes up, everyone, please like and share. I'm going to go to the video where they talk about investigating the assault. And they say that some people, at least 5 people, have in fact been arrested due to the brawl.
The viral video shows a fight break out in the middle of the street in downtown Cincinnati, and police chief, state leaders now releasing harsh words for those involved, including the ones who recorded the video instead of jumping in to help or even dialing 911. News 5's Sean McKinnon joining us live outside District 1 headquarters.
Now, let me stop right there and say something. They said they're even upset about the people who stopped to record the video instead of dialing 911. Well, I get upset about stuff like that all the time because we always see fights and we always see dangerous things happen or whatever, where someone is hurt or whatever, and people take out their cell phones and record. That's what people do. Sadly, they don't try to intervene. They don't try to stop it or whatever. This is something that happens all the time, and the news media never says anything. But when it's people who don't look like me, now they're upset that nobody stopped and bothered to help, rather they recorded. This is what people always do, honey. Don't cry now. But let's continue.
With what we know about the investigation into that video, Sean.
Yeah, Councilmember Mark Jeffrey said this fight happened at 3 a.m. today. We've got new video tonight as police piece together exactly how and why this started, and state lawmakers take notice. A massive fight between more than a dozen people in the middle of the street. 62! At 4th and Elm, just a block uphill from Paycor Stadium. Videos posted online show punches and kicks being thrown, continuing after a man is knocked to the ground. As the fight goes on, videos show a man punching a woman, knocking her unconscious. Chief Teresa Thigi called it a sudden dispute between individuals following a verbal altercation, saying, "I am in complete disgust waking up to the viral video many of you have now seen. The behavior displayed is nothing short of cruel and absolutely unacceptable. Our investigative team is working diligently to identify every individual involved in causing harm." The fight spreading on social media. State lawmaker Cecil Thomas, who represents parts of Cincinnati, saying it's unacceptable under any standard, and those involved should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Therefore, as your state representative, I trust that there will be a full and complete investigation of this incident by the Cincinnati Police Department and to bring charges against all involved. And the president of the union representing officers calling the violence disgusting, saying what's equally disgusting is those who chose to watch and record instead of calling 911, attempting to defuse the situation or render aid. I have full faith in the Central Business Section investigators. They will make arrests in the near future. It will then be the responsibility of the court system to hold these violent thugs accountable.
Now let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. He said it will be against the law enforcement or whomever to hold these violent thugs. He says violent thugs accountable. Now, I'm not going to say they're not thugs. Maybe they are. I don't know. But at the end of the day, what about the thugs who started it? What about the thugs who started the whole thing? What about that? And how come when white people do things to black people just like that, start things with black people just like that, just like they started this? Isn't that how it usually goes? How come they don't call them thugs? Okay, I have several questions. Well, let's continue.
And thousands of people attended Cincinnati Music Fest last night. The chief of police said this fight is not connected to Cincy Music Fest in any way. Police have not announced any arrests yet. Live outside District 1 headquarters, Sean McKinnon, WLWT News 5.
Now, with that all being said, why don't they talk about how the white folk are the ones that started it? Why don't they talk about how the white people are the ones who started it? I mean, isn't that how it usually goes? Okay, black people don't start trouble with them. They start trouble with us all the time because they feel emboldened to do so. Let's talk about it. This is a few weeks before the anniversary of, guess what? The Montgomery Brawl. And who the hell started that? Oh, that's right. The usual suspects. Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this? Did they call them thugs when they attacked that black man, a whole group of them, about 10 of them? Okay, the only difference is the black folk came to his rescue. Nobody came to theirs. Okay, nobody came to theirs last night. That's how that looks. All right, so I just want you all to pay attention at the end of the day, honey. I want you all to pay attention because it's always so much to say. Oh, they're so violent. Oh, they're such thugs. Oh, they're doing too much. When it's black people defending themselves. Okay, please pay attention. When it's black people defending themselves, it's always thugs and animals and all that. Y'all remember that? Look at the black man on the ground. Did they call them thugs? Of course they didn't. That's what they didn't do. Okay, that's what they didn't do. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. And then also, I'm going to go to another video, but here's the thing. They said there was a woman that was knocked out, and sadly, it's true. That's the woman right there. She looks like she was knocked out cold. Now, here's the thing, and let me just say this. I don't condone violence unless and only if you're defending yourself or someone else. Okay, and this was the case. All right? This was the case. It was self-defense. The two white guys came over and started slapping black folk. Okay, and what do you expect to get when you do that? And then if there's a bunch of people, you can't just expect that only one or two of them's going to fight. They're all likely going to fight, just like they did the Montgomery Brawl when the white people jumped the black man. Isn't that what they did? They all jumped in. Well, that's what the black people did. They all jumped in too. Okay, so let's call everybody thugs if we're going to issue out the word thugs. Okay, let's just do that. Now, with that all being said, let's go to some footage. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, here's what they're saying. Here's another video, what they're saying about the Cincinnati Brawl. I believe this is the press conference. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
From Fox. I'm Andy Mack. Let's take you right now out to Cincinnati, and many of you might have seen some videos circulating on social media about a major brawl over the weekend there. There's a post from the New York Post saying a disturbing video showing a woman knocked out cold by a jeering crowd in the wild Cincinnati street brawl. We're hearing from officials now on the ground in Ohio. Let's listen into this.
6 a.m. First officers were on the scene at 3:12 a.m. Based on the body cam footage that I've watched, that response time is completely acceptable because the downtown area still had traffic congestion from all of the events. Upon arrival, the fight was over with. The fight was over with when the officers arrived. And the majority of the participants were gone. The officers did exactly what they are trained to do. They gathered information from the victims that were still at the scene to complete an offense report. I will tell you, at this time, we have victims and suspects identified, and we have charged 5 people in this offense. I'm not going to release that information to you. I will say, if individuals were down there and participated in this event, it would be in their best interest to come turn themselves in at one of our police districts. We have 5 we have charged and anticipate more. Let me be clear. Anyone who put their hands on another individual during this incident in an attempt to cause harm will face consequences.
Now she talking real big and bold, but does that include the Russians who started the whole thing? Does that include them? Because I have several questions, but let's keep listening.
I don't care which side of the incident or the fight they were on. If they place their hands on somebody in an attempt to cause harm, that is unacceptable. This is still an open investigation, and all potential charges are being investigated for everyone involved. All investigative tools and techniques are on the table. And
let me see if she's going to say anything else.
Women of CPD, you made this weekend, outside of this one incident, an amazing success for this city.
All right, I've heard enough of her. Okay, we get your point, ma'am. Now, with that all been said, let's talk about what Vivek Ramaswamy had to say about all of it. Okay, let's see what he had to say, because he came out and gave a statement. So did J.D. Vance. Now, I want you all to pay attention. J.D. Vance came out and said something about it too. Okay? That's right. Keep your damn hands to yourself. You won't have these problems, honey. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Isn't that what they say when it's people who look like us? Yeah, well, keep that same energy.
Senatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy posting just a few hours ago on X saying he spoke with the woman seen lying on the ground in the video. Now, he claims she was downtown for a friend's birthday party when she was attacked and ended up in the hospital, where she still is tonight. Ramaswamy adding that not a single local or state official has reached out to her yet, aside from a police detective. Ramaswamy also claiming there was not an ambulance there to take the victim to the hospital. During today's press conference, we asked Police Chief Terry Thigi about how the victims are doing and if any of them needed to be hospitalized. Here's what she had to say.
I don't know if they went to the hospital after. I know that when the officers who arrived on the scene, based on the body cam footage that I have watched, that all of the victims were still on the scene, and they appeared to be as well as could possibly be expected.
Ramaswamy says the victim appreciates the kind words and prayers from people across the country and hopes her story will lead to change.
Well, we will have much more.
Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? And I'm not poking fun, but I can't help but chuckle when they say, hoping that it'll bring change. Y'all hear this? They get in one brawl and get their arses whooped. Now they talking about change. Well, get used to it. Get over it. Because black people been waiting on change, been waiting for a change to come for hundreds of years. Okay? For decades. All right? Y'all hear that? Now let's go to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance sounds off in Cincinnati. Child, please. Oh, let me go to it. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you to Vance. Here we go.
Hi, Haley B. Miller, Cincinnati Enquirer. Have you seen footage in Cincinnati of a recent street fight, and what concerns do you have about that, given that that's your home city?
You said a street fight in Cincinnati? I have not seen this. Sorry, give me a little more background, Haley. I'm not sure about this.
There was a group of people who attacked a couple folks on the street in Cincinnati. Senator Bernie Moreno, some others have spoken out about it, have been critical of it.
Okay, yes. So what I saw, and I haven't seen the full context, but what I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And they will be. They will be, so long as law enforcement in the state of Ohio takes their job seriously. I know Dave Yost cares a lot about these things. But yeah, I actually, you're right. Bernie did send me a clip of this, and we talked a little bit about it. I don't know the full context. I don't know how the fight started. But the one part that I saw that was really gruesome is you had a grown man who sucker punched a middle-aged woman. And where I come from, at least, when you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time. And frankly, he's lucky there weren't some better people around, because they would have handled it themselves. But if they're not going to handle it, the cops in Cincinnati, the law enforcement, you've got to prosecute people. We've had way too much lawlessness on the streets of great American cities. How many of you all have wanted to go to downtown Akron or downtown Canton or downtown Columbus for a meal, but you're worried because the local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild? We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children. If you want to take your wife or your children out for a meal, you shouldn't be worried about street violence. And the only way to destroy that street violence is to take the thugs who engage in that violence and throw their asses in prison.
Now, let me tell you all something. Now, I want you all to pay attention to how many times we've heard them say thugs when they refer to black people, okay? Thugs, that's what they say. I'm going to show you some thugs in just a minute. Please hold on. I'm going to show you some real damn thugs. Excuse me. I'm going to show you some thugs in a minute, okay? All right? And they never called these thugs thugs. That's what they didn't do. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, let me go to this video of Avik. Or did I play that one already? Okay, anyway, with that all being said, let's go to some TikTokers who made videos about all of this. Okay? And see, that's how we know. People have already come out and said who really started what. Okay? People have already come out and told us who started it. And we know that it wasn't the black people. Now, if you start a fight and get your arse whooped, you don't get to play the victim. Okay? That's what you don't get to do, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? You get what you pay for. Okay, the day of the Geechee is gone. All right, you think you're just going to be going upside black people's heads, slapping them around, and they're not going to do anything? Well, you better think again. Hold on.
As someone who was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, I felt obligated to make this video. When I saw that downtown brawl video making the rounds on social media, I knew right away the story's being told all wrong. They're calling the bald guy a victim, acting like he was just minding his business when he got jumped. Well, let's get something straight. He started it. The full video shows him slapping and swinging at people. That's what set it all off. Not a random attack, not a mob. He escalated it. And then we have domestic terrorists like J.D. Vance and Hermit Dilling jumping in, trying to spout their law and order propaganda. Yeah, the guy got stomped, and that's brutal. But he's not innocent. He literally put his hands on people first. And I always find it interesting, these same kind of people like to say FAFO or play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Except when the perpetrator is white. Because according to the media and domestic terrorist opportunists like J.D. Vance and Hermit Dillon, you're allowed to go up and cause fights and start trouble, and you're the victim now, as long as you're white. I mean,
okay, absolutely no lies detected, okay? That's why he's telling it like it is, and I appreciate him for doing so. Because here's the thing. When people like him started coming out and telling the truth of what actually happened, and you know, there's a whole video, and then there's a piece of a video that they were having going around to make it look as though the black people were the aggressors. But then when the real video got out and people started saying what really happened, then you hear them saying the same ones who were talking so much smoke. Then all of a sudden it's, well, it doesn't matter who started. Yeah, it does matter who started. Yeah, it does. Because if you don't start none, it won't be none. Facts. Well, let's continue.
I mean, Hermit Dillon herself made it about race. When there is absolutely nothing from the videos or anything we know that says it's about race. All they seen was white person getting jumped. It must mean race. Don't let these domestic terrorists hijack and twist this story to fit a narrative.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, because that's what they want to do. They want to sit there and lie and try to paint a whole narrative because the black person's always the aggressor. Just like the case with Carmelo Anthony. Right? They attacked him. When he defended himself and it ended up in a fatality, Now he's the problem. Now listen to this one here.
Should stick around to listen to this. But the reason why it is so important to watch those videos of those white people on the ground getting beat down by a black mob is because, could you imagine that if it was the other way around? And we've seen what happens when it's the other way around. Why is the white community enraged? Why are they protesting? Why ain't they rioting?
Because they know damn well they started it. That's why, sir. Black people protest and riot and all of that because of injustices, okay? When things are done to us. In this case, nothing was done to them. They brought it on themselves. They started it, and they got exactly what they asked for. But let's let them cook.
Because we all know that if those were black people on the ground and white people were doing the same exact crime that you see in these videos, and I'm not going to take the videos because they're hard to watch, because on my platform, it's humanity over everything. I'd feel the same way. If there were black people on the ground and white people beating them up, it would be an atrocity, it would be disgusting, and I would denounce every single one of them. The
He's a damn
have
lie.
identified at least 4 suspects in a violent brawl that took place in downtown Cincinnati. The fight took place on Friday night between Elm and 4th Street, with the videos of the brawl going viral on social media.
I've heard enough. Let me show you all something. Let me show you all something, because he's lying, talking about he'd be just as mad. No, he wouldn't, because they're never just as mad when it happens to us. Let's get into it, okay? Let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Do you all remember this story? Hold on. Y'all remember this story? I didn't hear anybody calling this white man a thug. And they talk about that white woman got knocked out. Well, I'm sorry she got knocked out. Okay? I don't condone men putting their hands on women. But at the end of the day, what I do know is this. What I do know is this. Do y'all remember this right here? Let me share my screen. I didn't hear anybody call this man a thug, and I didn't hear anybody giving sympathy for this black woman except for black people. What the hell is this? Okay, y'all see this? Do you all remember this white man who beat the hell out of this woman over a parking space? He pistol whipped her. Do you all remember this story? A former bartender in Dallas was found guilty of attacking a woman in a parking lot in a conflict that stemmed from an argument over one car blocking another. The attack occurred in March of 2019 when Lee, then 24, he's an old ass looking 24. He looked like he's 44 or 54, but let me continue. Then 24 pulled into a parking lot and blocked Shuffled, 30 at the time. Oh, okay, the woman was 24. Okay, well, he still looks old as hell for 30, but let me continue. Shuffled, 30 at the time, as he was trying to leave. He exited his car with a gun and approached Lee to tell her to move. The confrontation escalated when Shuffled punched Lee, punched her. Now, they want to talk about somebody punching this white woman. What about this? Punched her and slapped her cell phone out of her hand when she tried to call 911. Shuffled hit Lee multiple times in the face and upper body until she stumbled to the ground. Now, what they're not telling you is that he had a gun in his hand when he's doing all this. Lee went to the hospital for treatment of a ruptured eardrum. Okay? And that white woman that got knocked down, some black people helped her ass back up. All right? She was the main one out there throwing haymakers. Shuffle's lawyers insist the attack was not a hate crime. Of course it was. They tried to call this brawl in Cincinnati a hate crime, trying to act like these black people just randomly attack some white people. That's not how we do. Okay, that's what they do. Who commits the most hate crimes in this country? It's not us, but let me continue. So they insist it was not a hate crime, but Lee's claim back in 2019 that he called her racial slurs. Yeah, he did, and that's why it's a hate crime. The incident was captured on video by nearby witnesses. Now, I'm not going to play the video, but you all remember this. Initially, the Dallas Police Department issued a warrant for the arrest of Lee on charges of criminal mischief after being accused of breaking Sheffield's rear view window of his truck. Now, I want you all to listen to this. This white man beat this black woman to the point that she had a ruptured eardrum and had to be hospitalized. She, in retaliation for the beating, busted out the window of his truck. They arrested her. They issued a warrant for her arrest. Do you all remember this? So with that all being said, listen to this. Initially, the Dallas Police Department issued a warrant for the arrest of Lee, that's the woman, on charges of criminal mischief after being accused of breaking Sheffield's rear window of his truck. However, after protest, all charges against Lee were dropped. See, that's why black people protest, because we're the ones that have the injustices committed upon us, not the other way around. These white folks started that. That's why they're not protesting, because they already know what they did. Sheffield was also fired from his job as a bartender at the High and Tight barbershop and speakeasy. Sheffield avoided being found guilty of the most serious charge against him, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. See, he didn't get found guilty of that. And another thing is, you all don't remember how they snuck him out of the back of the courthouse so the media, he wouldn't be all over the news and everything, and people wouldn't see his face. Instead, due to the plea bargain, instead of appealing, he will serve 4 days in Dallas County Jail, served 90 days in jail on a pending DWI. So they gave his behind more time for the DWI than they did for beating the hell out of that black woman and rupturing her damn eardrum. Do y'all hear this? 4 days, but we're supposed to be sad because Becky got knocked the hell out when she jumped her ass in the middle of a fight and remained on probation for as much as 4.5 years. Then in a brief statement to reporters, Lee commented, "It is what it is. At the end of the day, justice was served." Honey, I don't call that justice. Okay? I definitely don't call that justice. Miss me with it. Okay? Do y'all remember that? Now, the reason I brought that story up is because they keep talking about, oh, this grown man knocked out a woman. He should go to prison for a long, long time. Yeah, so should he. He attempted to murder her, pistol whipping her with a gun. What did he expect? Okay? And that's all the time he got. Keep that same energy. That's what I'm talking about. And that's why I'm bringing this up. Because they want to talk about the white woman. What about this black woman? Here's another one. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Look at this. Biracial woman beaten by 4 white men. Let's get into it. Where's the sympathy and why didn't they call them thugs?
Althea Bernstein says she was set on fire, and Alex Perez joins us with the latest on the investigation. Good morning, Alex.
Hey, good morning, George. The 18-year-old says she's studying to be a paramedic, and some of those skills kicked in at the horrifying moment she was attacked. This morning, police in Madison, Wisconsin are searching for the suspects responsible for this. A young biracial woman suffering 2nd and 3rd-degree burns after she says she was set on fire.
I haven't really slept, and I don't really have an appetite, so it's just, I don't want anyone to ever feel like this.
18-year-old Althea Bernstein says she was on her way to her brother's house around 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. She says she was stopped at a red light and listening to music when she heard someone yell the N-word. According to the police report, her driver's side window was down and she heard someone yell out a racial epithet. She looked and saw 4 men, all white. She says one used a spray bottle to deploy a liquid on her face and neck and then threw a flaming lighter at her, causing the liquid to ignite. She drove forward and patted out the flames.
I don't even remember anything, but your brain still has that flight or fight response that takes care of you. So I made it home. I called my mom. I drove myself to the ER.
Now, an active and ongoing investigation, Madison's mayor saying, while we are still learning more about the details, current information suggests this may have been a premeditated crime targeted toward people of color, which makes the incident even more disturbing.
It's definitely a learning opportunity, and I'm very, very hopeful that these men sort of see all the responses and that they know that they hurt me. And that this is something that's going to affect me for a while. And I really hope that they choose to improve themselves.
And authorities say they are reviewing surveillance images from nearby cameras, hoping for any clues that might help them track down the attackers. Cecilia?
Y'all see that? How they messed up her beautiful face? Low down, dirty thugs. Those are the damn thugs. But did they call them that in the media? No. Did you hear how nicely they were talking about the story? Okay. Did y'all notice that? Like, oh, I'm so done, honey. But hold on. There's another. Let me just go. I have a couple of more stories we're going to get into. Woman, 18 years old, dies after throat was slashed in random subway attack. Y'all remember this? Do y'all remember this? Hold on. Let me share my screen. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Since they want to talk about this white woman like, oh, she got knocked out. I feel bad she got knocked out, but hey, ish happens. Remember her? This happened in Oakland, California. The stabbing death of 18-year-old Nia Wilson at a Bay Area rapid transit station Sunday marks the third death on the subway, okay, known as the BART system. Wilson was reportedly helping a woman with a stroller off the train when her neck was slashed by a man. It was a white man, okay? In my close to 30 years of police experience, it was probably one of the most vicious attacks that I've seen. This is what BART Police Chief Carlos Rojas said, okay, citing a surveillance video. Wilson was on her way back from a pool party and barbecue. Wilson's sister was also stabbed and seriously hurt. Yeah, he stabbed both of them. Okay, one of them died. So do y'all remember that? Okay, where was the outrage for her? They didn't call him a thug. They tried to act like he had mental health issues. Okay, which is what they always say. It's called being a psychopath. And last I checked, a psychopath does not mean that you're crazy. Okay, it just means that you're just a devious, low down, dirty person with no conscience. Please pay attention. Okay, at the end of the day. Now hold on, because I'm going to go to this report. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. I'm just saying, since they want to bring up receipts, let's drop them. Don't act like this is something that black people go around doing, because this is not what we do. If you see black people fighting, and specifically a brawl like that, you can best believe that the other people started. Okay, so the video won't load, but anyway, this is her right here, Nia Wilson, the one that lost her life at the age of 18. And her twin sister was stabbed as well. She survived. Okay. And here's the thing. Here's the devil that did it right here. See how small his picture is? Why wasn't it plastered everywhere? But what I want you all to pay attention to is this. When this happened, now you see how they made the white woman such the victim. Oh, he knocked out this white woman and all this and that. But here's the thing. When this young black lady, Nia Wilson, who was 18 years old, when she lost her life, do you know what the media did? The lamestream, lion-ass media. That's why I don't fool with them. They posted a picture of her holding a cell phone case that looked like a gun, but they tried to portray it as though she was holding the gun, trying to make her look like she's the thug. But she's the victim. Okay, that's what they did. And I want you all to pay attention to things like that, because when they show the perpetrators, they'll show pictures of them in prom outfits or wearing suits, okay, taking high school pictures and all of that, like they're just sweet and innocent. But they always want to make the black person look so nefarious, even when they're the victim. But let's keep going, because there's some more TikToks about this. Like, up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
There's a video circulating that's going viral right now about a fight that happened in Cincinnati, y'all, on Friday. Not trying to make this a race thing, but a lot of people will. They said that the blacks started this fight against the Caucasians. Someone out there cropped the video and made it seem like the blacks was the aggressors in this video. But someone who was there put out a full video of what really happened. And this guy that you see right here, he slapped this guy right here. Then all hell broke loose. But before the slap came in, they said it was just a verbal altercation. And that verbal altercation led to that man striking him. I don't know how this lady got in it, but this is how she ended up. So allegedly, she got into the mix and she was hitting some people, and then a Caucasian slept her, pit her to night-night. But they said it was the black people. If you haven't seen this video, go search it up. It happened in Cincinnati on Friday. So like I said, if you haven't watched this video yet, go watch it. Then come back in the comments and let me know what you think about this. Let me know who.
Now, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that they said it was a Caucasian person that knocked her out. So just all kinds of lies. So they're trying to demonize the black folk. Okay, let's go to this next video. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
In the early morning hours on July 26th, a brutal street brawl was caught live in downtown Cincinnati. Here's everything that we know so far. Late Friday night, early morning around 3 a.m. near Elm and 4th, a street altercation turned into a full-on assault. One man was shoved to the ground and viciously kicked and stomped by multiple different people. Then a woman stepped in to try and help. She was punched in the face twice, knocked out cold, and left bleeding while the crowd stood around filming and not helping. The Cincinnati police chief called the attack cruel and absolutely unacceptable. This wasn't just a fight, it was a targeted beatdown. Police have confirmed they have identified.
Did he say this wasn't just a fight? It was a targeted beatdown? Do y'all hear how they exaggerate? Honey, it was not targeted. Yeah, the Russians targeted those black people. Yeah, in that aspect, you're absolutely right.
Identified at least 4 suspects and are now working on identifying more of them. Again, none of these names are actually out in the public just yet, but they are continuing to identify them within the police. Police are asking the public for help, so if you do recognize anyone in the footage, be sure to contact the number that I leave in the description. Ken Kober from the Fraternal Order of Police said the bystander behavior was almost as shocking. Nobody stepped in. People just pulled out their phones and were filming the entire altercation without helping. This story will continue to develop over the next few days, so if you want to stay up to date.
Now they're concerned about people not jumping in. Please. People never jump in. It's all a hot mess. They always try to flip the script and paint the narrative that the black people are the aggressors. We know who's been the aggressor since the day one.
So a brawl went down in Cincinnati, and I've been seeing clips of the fight, and everybody been saying, oh, it's a hate crime, and the black people just jumped on and attacked the clear folk, and the white lady was laid out. First of all, that white man slapped the black guy first. Now, I'm not saying that anybody deserves to get beat up by a mob, but you can, and they were also hurling racial slurs. You cannot physically assault somebody and then police how they react to you. You cannot physically assault somebody and then police how they react to you. We're going to get our Dr. Umar on. You cannot physically assault somebody and then police how they react to you. Now, if I know I'm outnumbered, why in the hell would I put my hands on somebody?
Exactly.
And everybody like, oh, what if it was the other way around? It has been the other way around for centuries. Just last month, a black man was in a bar asking about his tab because they was trying to overcharge him for drinks that he did not receive. And the whole entire bar jumped him, and they were all Caucasian men. And I didn't see y'all saying shit about it. Y'all like, yeah, it would have been a worldwide news if it was black people. No, we've seen that black guy go into that bar and get beat down by a mob of white men. He had no backup. He was by himself. Y'all didn't say shit about that because y'all don't really give a fuck about semantics. Y'all only care about race because y'all are racist. And y'all feel like y'all supposed to be able to beat a black person's ass, slap a black person, accost a black person, steal a black person's property, go harass, stalk a black person. And we just ain't supposed to do nothing back. It's not 1925. You're going to fuck around and find out.
Thank you.
Now, I don't know. They saying that a Caucasian man is actually who knocked the woman out, and it wasn't a black man. But of course, y'all want to just blame us. But you do not put your hands on somebody and expect for them to not defend themselves. Now, should the whole mob jump you? No. But that's how the cookie crumbled once you decided to choose violence. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
All right. Exactly. I'm pretty sure that was Celia from TMZ. Okay, now with that all being said, here's the last one.
So by now, you've either heard about the Cincinnati Jazz Festival Brawl or you've seen it for yourself, where apparently it looks like random white people are being targeted by groups or mobs of black people, as they want to call it. Well, I don't really care what JD Vance has to say because my eyes tell me a different story. This thing went so viral, so political, because apparently it looks like random white people are getting attacked by black people when that's absolutely not the case. All right. There's 3 videos in particular that are going super viral. We're going to break them down. The first one is a guy pretty much getting stomped out for 2 minutes straight. Hands, feet, and a bunch of dudes are just beating on him. He's trying to get up, cover his head. He's just getting kicked in it. Well, if you look at the full clip of that video, that man slapped somebody, a black man, in the middle of his friends. He slapped him first, and then that's when those men activated. All right.
Okay, I mean, what do you expect? You think you're just gonna come and slap somebody and that's all that's gonna happen? Or if the person retaliates, you think if they're with multiple people, they're the only ones gonna retaliate? Like, that's crazy. Okay, that's crazy to think. Okay, we react just like they do now. Okay, they brought this on themselves. Now black people react the same way they do. In the Montgomery brawl, all of them jumped that black man. So now when there's a brawl, all of the black people are jumping too. That's how that works. Okay, y'all made the rules, we're just following them. Okay, so with that all been said, Queen, after that happened to Nia, I went to Bart later to help clean up the memorial and caution people about wearing headphones on the streets in both ears. Exactly, beloved. Exactly, because that was the problem. They didn't even know that guy was coming at them because they were listening to their music. That is so sad. Thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. One box. Peace, love, and blessings.
All right. If you ask me, he started it. All right. Second video is of a woman being knocked out cold by a white man. All right. He definitely wasn't black. The person who knocked that woman out, you can clearly see is not black. But you know who is black? The people that helped that woman get right back up. All right.
I saw that video.
That's what my eyes saw. You understand? And you want to know who else is black? The man that woman was originally attacking. Okay. She was all up in some dude's face, pushing on his neck, pushing on his body, yelling whatever she was yelling at him. And then a white man came and knocked her down. All right. And now the third video that's going wild viral is of a more of a heavy set chubby guy. He's getting ready to cross the street, and then somebody comes up from behind and boom, clocks him. He falls back. It looks like he hit his head on like a golf cart or something, and he's out cold. Okay. In the video, I hear somebody say, sleep him again. All right. Meaning knock him out again. And then I hear somebody else say, that's what he gets. That's karma for you. All right. Now, that makes me think this isn't random. He did something because these people are saying this is karma. That's what he gets. I'm putting in all my context clues. I'm connecting the dots. You understand? So I say 2 videos where both of them people put hands on somebody. And the third one, although I didn't see the beginning of the video, but the people around this doesn't seem to be random. Okay, it seems to be very targeted, and they're acting like this is something that has happened and like this is a cause and effect machine that's going on right now. So I just heard what JD Vance had to say. I see what all the conservatives and all the people who want to engage in some sort of, like opposition between the two groups. Well, go look, and this is what I mean. Make these decisions for yourselves. Stop letting people feed you their agenda. Go look at the video for yourself. You will see these people started it. What do you think is going to happen if somebody slaps you in the middle of all of your friends? You got 7 of your boys with you. Some random guy slaps you in the face. You don't think they're going to activate? All right, a woman just pushing and trying to, you know, push back some dude and yelling all up in his face. You don't think somebody's gonna come and do something to her? Stop it, man. Y'all are doing too much. Let me know what you think about this.
Okay, I have to agree with him. Okay, I have to agree with him. Now, with that all being said, thank you for your contribution again, beloved. One box, aka 100 block Rael. Okay, I appreciate you. Okay, so y'all heard it. At the end of the day, they started here. Here's the thing. Look, yeah, all these conservatives are coming out. You got JD Vance, you got Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't think I played that video of Vivek. I'll go to that in a second. But here's what Elon Musk had to say, honey. Even Elon Musk had something to say about it. Aggravated assault. Elon Musk on viral Cincinnati white couple video amid speculation. Now, that's another thing I want you all to pay attention. They're painting this as a white couple, like it was a woman and a man. It was two white Russians, men, okay? They're portraying this as a white couple. I want y'all to pay attention. So it's like, oh, this white couple got jumped by a bunch of black folks. That's not even what happened. See how they be lying? Why are they always lying? So Elon Musk has responded to a disturbing viral video that shows a white couple being attacked by a group of individuals at the Cincinnati Jazz Fest. SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk has responded to a disturbing viral video that shows a man and a woman being violently attacked by a group of individuals. That's not even what happened. Okay, the incident reportedly occurred during the Cincinnati Music Festival, formerly known as Cincinnati Jazz Fest. So the graphic footage shows a man being repeatedly punched and kicked in the head by several people as he attempts to stand. He collapses again. Later in the video, a woman approaches to check on him, but is punched in the face. Do y'all hear this? She comes to check on him. She wasn't out there. The woman that got knocked out wasn't throwing paws too. Okay. Really? She comes to check on him. But she's punched in the face. Okay. She approaches to check on him, but is punched in the face by a man. She falls to the ground and remains motionless. The Cincinnati Police Department confirmed that they're investigating the attack. And while authorities have not released further details about what led to the violence, online speculation suggests the attack may have been racially motivated. Oh, wow. Y'all hear that? See how they put 20 on 10? Okay. They know damn well black people don't go around looking for a fight with white people or any other race of people. If anything, black people always starting some mess amongst other black people against themselves. Isn't that why they always be talking about black on black crime? Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. The group seen attacking the pair appears to be black, while the two victims appear to be white. Oh, the victims, not the instigators. Cincinnati Police Chief Terry Thetke addressed the incident in a statement to WLWT, saying, "I am in complete disgust waking up to the viral video many of you have seen. The behavior displayed is nothing short of cruel and absolutely unacceptable. Our investigative team is working diligently to identify every individual involved in causing harm. It's also important to clarify that this was a sudden dispute between individuals following a verbal altercation. It was not connected in any way to the music fest. If you have any information related to the incident, please contact Crime Stoppers immediately." They didn't give a number. Now, Elon Musk weighed in on the incident by posting a screenshot of the video on X, formerly known as Twitter, showing the woman lying motionless on the pavement. Above it, he wrote, "That guy almost killed this woman. Aggravated assault." Elon Musk, sit your ass down somewhere, okay? Sit down somewhere. Y'all hear this? Y'all hear this? So full of shite. But hold on. Let me show you all something else. Hold on. Where is that other? I want to remind you all of something else real quick. Hold on, beloveds. Damn it, where did I put it? Here it is right here. Okay, do y'all remember this? I know y'all remember this because I reported this. Look at this right here. Now, they didn't call these people thugs either. And in fact, the black man that they attacked, the police arrested him after he refused to just to let it go and drop the charges or agree to the people taking some sort of diversion class after they tried to lynch him. Okay, then they arrested him on a bogus charge.
In Indiana, after a black man said a group of white men allegedly threatened to get a noose. Videos of the incident have gone viral, and it is difficult to watch. Here's Alex Perez.
Tonight, investigations underway in Indiana after this disturbing video posted on social media showing a group of white men attacking a black man, 36-year-old Vox Booker.
Thank God, dude.
The men hurling racist slurs and pinning Booker against a tree.
One of the gentlemen yells to his friend to get a noose. I thought these individuals were literally going to lynch me.
The ordeal unfolding July 4th at Lake Monroe near Bloomington, Indiana. Booker says he and his friend, who's white, were headed to the public beach when he says the men accused him of trespassing on private property. Booker says he tried to calmly talk to them but was assaulted.
I'm struggling to breathe. I can feel the weight of these gentlemen on top of me.
Booker says what saved him was that his friends and bystanders refused to leave. The county prosecutor saying she's waiting for investigators to turn the case in for review, but tonight we've learned the FBI is opening a hate crime investigation.
Thank God, dude.
I just see so many images pass through my mind of George Floyd, of the countless black people we've seen be killed in horrible ways. And I think to myself, am I going to be them?
And David, there was a protest supporting Vox Booker last night that turned violent after a car drove into the crowd of demonstrators. 2 of those demonstrators were injured. Authorities tonight are still searching for the driver of that car.
Now, y'all hear that? Talk about thugs. There's your thugs right there, okay? There's your thugs right there, as per usual, the usual suspects. And at the end of the day, the FBI never charged them with a hate crime. Like I said, they wanted to put them in a diversion program so they wouldn't get any time in jail. The black man wasn't willing to go for that. And they were saying that they apologized and can they just do that? He was like, no, he wanted them to get jail time. So instead, he said the police started harassing him and then ended up arresting him on bogus charges because he wouldn't go along with the plan. So I just want you all to pay attention to that, honey. So they can miss me with it, honey. Am I supposed to be crying and shedding a tear when all this bullshit happens, honey? At the end of the day, it's called karma. All right. They came up there and got what they paid for, as far as I'm concerned. All right. So anyway, now with that all been said, let's talk about this all-white town. Okay, they got an all-white town, honey, and it's called Return to the Land. Now, quite frankly, I'm not mad about it. Hey, more power to it. Okay, let's get into it. Return to the Land. Group sets up an all-white town in Arkansas. Civil rights activists raise alarm. Return to the Land is an ethno-nationalist organization. Okay, now it has established an all-whites only settlement in Arkansas and plans expansion in Missouri. Rejecting multiculturalism and immigration, the group seeks to return to traditional values, excluding non-white, non-Christian, and LGBT plus individuals. Okay. Y'all hear this? I mean, this is fine for me because I don't want to be anywhere within 100 yards of people that behave and think this way anyway. So let them have their own town. That's how I see it. No problem for me. The organization's leader defends their actions as protected by freedom of association, while critics condemn it as discriminatory and reminiscent of segregation. Well, let's go back to segregation. I don't have a problem with any of it. Okay, so anyway, they go on to say the extremist ethno-nationalist organization has established an exclusively white settlement in a secluded area of northeastern Arkansas in the Ozarks and is reportedly considering expansion to Missouri. Now, Return to the Land, also known as RTTL, a self-described private membership association for people with traditional views and European ancestry, launched its initial community in Arkansas in October of 2023 and is now planning to enter Missouri, likely near Springfield, according to NBC. The organization rejects mass immigration, multiculturalism, and forced integration and excludes non-white and all these other people, like I told y'all. Okay, so here's a video. They don't want any black folks, any U's, and any LGBTQs. That's what they said. So anyway, honey, let's go to the video. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm going to share my screen.
No blacks, no Jews,
no gays. High up in the Ozark Hills in the state of Arkansas, dozens of people have been working hard, building houses and a new type of community. It's called Return to the Land, and it is a town open to white people only. They are millennials and Gen Z, and this is a new update of age-old prejudice.
What we've done here is establish a place where we have control over who our neighbors are, and that is just for the sake of preserving, our culture.
And that culture, effectively, we're saying this is a white culture, a whites-only place.
White American culture.
But what this sounds like is bringing back segregation. Is that a fair assessment?
It's free association. So we're not trying to keep other people down. This is a small settlement in the middle of the Ozarks.
But they are being kept out, even if...
you don't let everyone into your home.
Around 40 people live here. Hundreds more from across the world have paid to be members. And while the men do the physical labor, the women take care of the children who live here full time. It could be a very loving community if you're part of the community, but if you're black, or if you're Jewish, or if you're gay, you can't be part of that community.
They can have their own communities, and they already do.
You might be wondering how any of this can be legal. Return to the Land is structured as a private members association, which they believe allows them to discriminate on the basis of ethnicity, along with other factors. That has yet to be tested in the courts and may well fail. The Arkansas Attorney General has said his office is now reviewing the matter as a result of our reporting, and that there is no room for racial discrimination in Arkansas or anywhere in a free society.
I don't have a problem with it. If they want to live just amongst themselves, then let them, okay? Then let them. I mean, if they don't want you there, why would you want to be there? You have to be crazy. And that's the thing about segregation. It never should have ended as far as I'm concerned, because people who didn't want you around them, why would you fight to be around them? Like, make yourself make sense. Okay, that's all crazy to me and always will be. Okay, Sierra says, please explain what happens to us when we tried to have our own. For the ones that are saying we should do this and not be mad, which we aren't mad. Well, thank you, beloved. That's a very interesting point. And thank you for your contribution to the channel. What happened when we did it was they burned it down and they put bombs on they dropped bombs on them. Okay, that's what they did. If y'all remember the Tulsa massacre, yeah, it was black people living on those blocks, all black businesses and everything. And that's what they did. They burned it down. They dropped bombs. They did the same thing here in Atlanta. Okay, we're over in the Sweet Auburn district. There was black-owned businesses that were burned. The owner of one of the businesses was lynched. Okay, so this is what they do when we try to do it, but when they do it, it's perfectly fine. I just think that if anybody wants to be segregated, then you should be allowed to do it. I don't care what race or ethnic group you belong to at the end of the day, because I don't want to be around any group of people who don't want to be around me. That's how I feel about it. So I'm good on that. I don't have any problem with them separating themselves. They should be separated. That way they can keep their racism and their ideology to themselves. We don't have to worry about hate crimes. Just think about it. If all the racist people stayed to themselves and lived amongst themselves, then maybe the hate crimes would go down. Okay? Maybe we wouldn't have to worry about school shootings and so many mass shootings if everybody just lived amongst themselves. Now, this right here is a video of the business owners in Cincinnati and them talking about, the consequences of the brawl.
This is not who we are. This is not the norm. This is not what happens in Cincinnati.
And if you ask the business owners who call the intersection of 4th and Elm Street home,
something that's isolated. That's exactly what this business is not about, what our businesses are about. We work definitely as a collective to make sure that you have a safe environment.
Videos of fights popped up on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I immediately sort of understood that the negative effect that it probably could have on this new district that we're creating.
WCPO9 reached out for permission to use the video, which we have not been given at this time. The video appeared to show a crowd attacking a man and then a woman being knocked unconscious. Cincinnati police have not yet said what may have caused the violence. Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Kearney says officers are on the case.
We're going to find out who's responsible and take action.
I reached out to Cincinnati police asking if they have any updates on what happened near this intersection Saturday morning or if any possible arrests have been made. As officers continue that investigation, the businesses here on 4th Street work together as a team for each other and their customers.
We like a team down here. We're a family.
I met with these 3 businesses near 4th and Elm: BBQ Chicken, Love on 4th, and Something to Whine About.
We're together in this and making sure that we can share these wonderful experiences.
They said they won't let their hard work be squandered by Saturday's incident.
The positivity wrapped around what we're creating here is at an all-time high, and I'm so glad to be a part of it.
Reporting downtown, Sam Harris-Simowitz, WCPO.
Okay. Bobby says they will still find a reason to go out of their way to bother us. Yeah, that's the unfortunate truth. They can't just leave us the hell alone. Okay, yeah. D Major Skeleton said Ohio is a racist state and a red state. It sure is. It absolutely is. Okay, so now we're almost done with this live. Let's talk about what Joe Rogan. Now remember, he was a supporter of Trump. Now he's accusing the Trump administration of trying to gaslight people. Okay, I'm going to put an overlay over this news broadcast because they actually show a portion of Joe Rogan's podcast, and I don't need any copyright strikes or claims. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. So come to find out that it wasn't even a black person who knocked out the woman. Okay, yeah, they definitely didn't specify that when they were doing their reports.
On the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dick Durbin is demanding the Justice Department release all recordings and transcripts from the meetings between Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche and convicted Epstein conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. Senator Durbin is also demanding the Justice Department make the commitment that Maxwell will not receive a pardon, something that the president has refused to rule out.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it. Nobody's asked me about it. It's in the news about that aspect of it, but right now it would be inappropriate to talk about it.
Right, with us now, Republican strategist Neil Chatterjee and CNN political commentator Karen Finney. And Karen, at a certain point, when the president keeps on refusing to rule out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, one might assume that he's not ruling out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes, when he keeps saying, we know that kind of language from him, right? People say, I can do it. Used that before. And this is part of the reason that this story isn't going away. If he were able to definitively say there will be no pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, then, that at least branch of this story, which has so many branches, would be at least shut down.
Let me tell you all something. Trump is not going to say that he's not going to pardon her because he likely is. And that's why he said, I can pardon her. We already know you can, Trump. You're the president, you idiot. You don't have to tell us that. So as soon as he said that, just like that woman said, that's an indication that he likely is going to, or is at the very least thinking about it.
And Neil, part of the place where this story lives is in the world of podcasts and among supporters of President Trump, where he made active outreach in the campaign. Now, Joe Rogan is certainly much more mainstream than some of the more niche podcasters and conspiracy theorists out there. But Joe Rogan is wildly popular, one of the most popular podcasts in the country. Joe Rogan endorsed President Trump before this most recent election. And listen to what Joe Rogan is now saying when discussing the Epstein issue.
When we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved. Yeah. We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
When you have Joe Rogan talking about the Epstein case as a line in the sand and gaslighting, what does that tell you about where this story is and where it's going?
Yeah, look, there's a reason.
Nessa G said they'll find a loophole to justify pardoning her. Well, of course, that's what they're going to do, beloved. They're going to say that they're pardoning her because she gave them beneficial information in the Epstein case, that she came and helped them and honestly gave them some information and details, which they can't release to us because due to the fact that there's no ongoing investigation. Okay, because if you look into it, You know, they usually don't give out the information that's given in a private government meeting or federal meeting with somebody there that's a witness. They usually don't give that information out, whatever was disclosed, unless there is an investigation into it. And I guarantee you they're not going to investigate this. They just want us to think they are. Okay, that's all that is. And that goes for both parties.
As Karen pointed out, this isn't going away. This isn't Democrats or the media driving this. This is a huge component of the president's base that has been key to supporting him throughout the last decade, that is frustrated by the way that the administration is handling this. And I got to tell you, speaking of frustration, as a Republican, I'm feeling pretty good about the first 6 months of the Trump presidency, of wins on the economy, on trade, on tax, in the foreign policy sphere. And yet they're unable in this moment to head into the summer recess taking credit for all of the regulatory, legislative, and administrative successes. They're totally caught up in this issue because it's a bad story. Look, let's just be honest. Like, this is not a good story. It's one the president's base is animated about, but average Americans are also animated about this. And the administration, quite frankly, has managed this very poorly, and it continues to live on.
Hey, let me just ask you both this straight up. And Neil, first to you. What's hard about saying no to the question of, are you going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell?
I don't get it.
And Karen, you know, you do communications, you know, as for a living. Just talk to me about the communications aspect of that. It's a question that you know he's ready for.
100%. But again, it's that what it says to me is he's not ready to say no. You know, maybe in his mind, he thinks keeping that open maybe keeps her on the hook for whatever it is that she's discussing with Todd Blanche. And I wanted to say, I think it's really important what Senator Durbin did, because again, Blanche, go and talk to her. That opens up a whole new branch of the tree of questions, right? Because now we're wondering, what did they talk about? Was she promised a pardon? What was in the boxes? What kind of information could she be offering? So that's the problem with this story for the White House. They keep, and really it's Trump, to be perfectly frank. He keeps, you know, sort of creating more questions, like he did yesterday by volunteering that, you know, there was a dispute over an employee. Well, the one employee that we know worked for him and then was with Jeffrey Epstein is Virginia Giuffre. So is that who he's talking about? So again, that just opens up a whole new line of questioning.
Now I want to turn to President Trump's legal team, because they're actually pushing ahead with a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal. They want to depose owner Rupert Murdoch within the next 15 days. Trump's lawyer asked a judge Monday to let them depose the 94-year-old media mogul because of his advanced age. They argue he would likely be unavailable for a trial. Trump is suing Murdoch and the Wall Street Journal's parent company for a recent report dealing with a birthday card Trump allegedly sent Jeffrey Epstein featuring Trump's name and an outline of a naked woman. Trump has denied ever sending such a note or even doing such a drawing.
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, you know, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women.
Okay, group chat is back. Sorry, I couldn't let you escape without talking about this story somehow. 2 things are going on here. One is him going up against Murdoch, just because you're in that world of media, Jonah. Is that notable?
Rupert Murdoch and Donald Trump have always had a frenemy kind of relationship.
Okay.
And I think this is one of these examples of Trump just being profoundly pissed off by something.
Well, he's had a good run.
Speaking of Rupert Murdoch, let's talk about it. I'll finish the video in a second. Now, here's what it says. Trump's lawsuit against Murdoch and Wall Street Journal turns personal. Okay, now this came out 5 o'clock this morning. President Trump's defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal and its powerful owner has taken a personal turn. In the legal filings and on social media, Trump has said that he personally told media mogul Rupert Murdoch that the racy birthday greeting that he had supposedly sent 2 decades earlier to the late disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein had been faked and did not exist. Now, how does that even make sense? If it's been faked, then it does exist. But he said it had been faked and it did not exist. Murdoch's journal reported it anyway, despite Trump's warning. Now Trump is asking a federal judge in Miami to compel the man that he once called my very good friend Rupert Murdoch to answer his lawyer's questions under oath within 15 days of the order. Trump's legal team acknowledges that the ink is barely dry on the lawsuit. There is no schedule of court deadlines yet, but argues that Murdoch is unlikely to testify in person whenever a trial occurs due to his advanced age and health issues. Murdoch is 94 years old. He has suffered multiple health issues throughout his life. Now, he's believed to have suffered recent significant health scares and is presumed to live in New York, according to the filing. Taken together, these factors weigh heavily in determining that Murdoch would be unavailable for in-person testimony at trial. Now, the filing repeatedly stresses Murdoch's age and cites his health setbacks, including a reported collapse during a breakfast in London in 2023, which the chief executive of his British holdings, Rebecca Brooks, said. The judge has ordered Murdoch, the only person Trump asked to be compelled to submit an accelerated deposition, to respond by the end of Monday, saying that the way it's being framed is almost sarcastic. This is what Joseph Azam, a former senior vice president and legal executive for Murdoch's newspaper and publishing empire, said. He says it's classic Trump. He is using lawfare to use his own term. He's using lawfare to use his own term to silence people. Now, the problem is he's going after people who are equally equipped, and in some ways, I would say better equipped to navigate this stuff. This is what Azam says. Now, the unusual demand to seek an urgent deposition of Rupert Murdoch, and only Rupert Murdoch, feels like a gratuitous attempt to poke the bear. Murdoch is the chairman of emeritus of News Corp, the corporate parent of the Wall Street Journal, the New York Post, and newspapers in the UK, and his native Australia. His son Lachlan is the company's chair, and his longtime executive Robert Thompson is chief executive. News Corp and a spokesperson for Murdoch have not responded to requests for comment. Dow Jones, the corporate division that oversees the Journal, and the Journal itself, declined to comment through a spokesperson. Trump's legal team has also declined to comment. Now, days after the lawsuit was filed, the Journal followed up last week with another scoop, saying the Justice Department told Trump in May that his name appears among others in the materials it possesses about Epstein. NPR has not independently confirmed the Journal's initial report. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has said that she had briefed the president about the findings. She did not say whether she told him his name had appeared. Now, while outside legal observers question the arguments propelling Trump's suit, his attorneys have won settlements of $10 million to $25 million from the parent companies of X, ABC, CBS, and Facebook over lawsuits that legal experts also consider of thin standing. He has not prevailed at trial. However, other Trump suits against media companies such as the New York Times, CNN, the Washington Post's famed investigative reporter Bob Woodward have been dismissed with little fanfare. So the two men have known each other for the far better part of a half a century from New York City circles. The tabloid owner and the self-promoting real estate tycoon who fed tidbits about himself to gossip columns to turbocharge his name recognition. Now, the two titans of conservative politics and media struck an alliance of convenience and mutual self-interest over the past decade since Trump first entered the race for the presidency and won the White House. Trump has been bolstered by the personalities and programs of Fox News, which Murdoch founded in 1996, as well as by Murdoch's tabloid New York Post and the Journal's conservative editorial pages. The Journal's news reports operate apart from its opinion pages and are far less subject than Murdoch's tabloids to his political whims. Murdoch typically shows deference to the judgment of news leaders at his most prestigious newspaper. But many viewers and readers of Murdoch's media holdings are strong supporters of the president. So anyway, now they say perhaps the greatest demonstration of that alliance occurred in 2023 when the Murdochs agreed to pay $787.5 million to settle a defamation lawsuit filed by Dominion Voting Systems against Fox News. The voting machine company had sued after Fox's host and guests falsely and repeatedly amplified claims by Trump's allies that the company had helped rig the 2020 race for Joe Biden. Okay, and so let's continue with the video. It's almost done.
And against news organizations.
And that's the thing. It's like, I think it's a profoundly stupid lawsuit. I mean, on a really fundamental level, but so was the CBS one, and they paid out, right? So like, if people are going to cave, why not keep going? And also, it sends a signal to other media organizations: don't join the feeding frenzy on the Epstein thing, or you could get a lawsuit too.
Can I just say, I think agree on all that. I think the fascinating element of this is Rupert Murdoch doesn't have any license that he needs right now that's up for debate. He's not in the middle of an M&A or in an acquisition or trying to sell off anything. So that's one component of this. Also, particularly in the wake of some of the things after the Smartmatic issues that they were dealing with after January 6th, and the president, if you think this story was posted with the president making direct threats to Emma Tucker, making direct threats to Rupert Murdoch, making direct threats across up and down the legal department of the Wall Street Journal without being completely locked up on the back end. I mean, most people don't understand journalism. That's a problem on some level about the lawyers and how this actually all works.
Which they wouldn't have gone to publish unless they thought they had the goods.
Exactly.
Okay. And also, I want to say, do we even need the Murdochs of the world for this story? If you look at someone like Joe Rogan, huge audience who's out there saying, why should we let this go? You're gaslighting us.
Huger audience. Like, that's where most eyeballs are at these days. And I go to Jonah's point, this is personal for him. Like, he's just mad and he's just lashing out. That's why, on top of all of that, going, oh, and by the way, America, he's really old. We should do it right now before he dies. His words, not mine, because he's just angry. But the new media piece of this is the biggest point.
Yeah, I actually think we have this clip. I want to show it just because he has a massive, audience of independent voters.
When we thought Trump was going to come in and a lot of things are going to be resolved, we're going to drain the swamp, we're going to figure everything out. And when you have this one hardcore line in the sand that everybody had been talking about forever, and then they're trying to gaslight you on that.
This was part of an extensive discussion, but you can hear a lot in there. The one hard line in the sand, this is the drain the swamp. It's a lot wrapped up in that comment.
This piece, Theo Bond, Andrew Schultz, all these boys have millions of people. This is his problem with the Epstein thing. It's not us talking about it. It's not even Rupert Murdoch. It's his base and folks that the Republicans need to motivate to show up in an off-year election, which is the real problem.
He sounded like one of the good old boys. Okay, so anyway, y'all heard that. Y'all heard that, honey. Trump is just running scared, okay? Trump is running scared. He's trying to get all his ducks in a row so he can go ahead and give Ghislaine Maxwell that damn pardon so that he doesn't have to fear anything else coming out about him, something very incriminating. And also, notice that one of them said when Trump talked about the reason him and Epstein fell out, they said something about Virginia Giuffre. Because remember, Trump said, I told you guys yesterday that Trump said, oh, he stole one of my employees or he stole some of my employees or whatever. I said, how did he steal them? When he was trafficking them? How do you steal a whole person? Okay, make that make sense. And we know that Virginia Giuffre was working for Trump when she was 16 because her father got her hired there. Okay, and we also know that Jeffrey Epstein absolutely trafficked her. So is that what he was talking about? Okay, Trump, sit down somewhere. That's not why they fell out. Not in my opinion, okay? Because I thought last time it was about a real estate deal or something like that or some sort of property, whatever. But anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank everyone for tuning in once again. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. And y'all, this whole thing, like I said, with this brawl, they want to sit there and try to paint the black people as the bad guys. I'm not saying they should have jumped those folks, but the bottom line is when you strike the first blow, you don't get to say how the person responds. Okay, that's just like we've seen many cases, and I want you all to really think about this. They're making this, such a big deal, but think about the many cases where a white person has attacked a black person with a gun, and I'm talking about shot them. Do you all remember the black guy in Florida who was going into the store, and then his wife was outside, and I think she was pregnant, but she was arguing with this man over the parking space or whatever, He started with her, and then the husband came out, and they got into an altercation, and the husband pushed him, and he pulled out a gun and shot him. Isn't that what they said? Didn't they basically say, well, you know, if you put your hands on somebody, you don't get to say what happens next when he killed that black man, okay? So I'm just saying, have the same energy, because they usually don't. Okay, and they're painting these narratives, and then to find out that it was a white man who knocked out that woman, yeah, they definitely didn't say anything about that. And I didn't even know that until I saw the guy's TikTok video. Okay, so anyway, honey, y'all keep your heads on the swivel is all I'm saying. And please pay attention, because they love to paint narratives and act like we're the ones out here starting mess, when in fact we're not. Okay, and then also look how they have a whole white town. Now, not that I mind, more power to it, because like I said, I don't want to be around people like that anyway. Anybody who doesn't want me or my people around, I don't want to be around you, period. So I don't have a problem with that. But I just want you all to pay attention to how they try to keep that under wraps, okay? You don't hear them talking about that, do you? You also don't hear them talking about those sundown towns that still exist, where they tried to do black people, just like that video of I showed you with the guy that they had up against that tree, okay? And if his friends had not refused to leave, they probably would have successfully lynched him. All right? So anyway, with that all being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Also, for those of you who missed the broadcast I did last night about Dr. Umar and about Gene Deal going in on Sean G, please check that out, okay? And so with that all been said, I love you all to life, okay? Always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And I will talk to you all again soon.
Hit him with that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece. This time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me?